Hi, everyone. My name is Katie Connor. I'm an orthopedic surgery PA in Charleston, South Carolina, and I've been working in PA education for over 10 years. I'm excited to give your upcoming board review, and I wanted to make a quick video so that you know what to expect. This review will play out like a team trivia session. We want it to be fun and interactive and not PowerPoint you to death. There will be 6 team trivia sessions followed by practice tests so that you can test your knowledge. I sent out an email with all of your team assignments. Your first job as a team is to create some kind of fun team theme that has to do with your topics. Make it medical and clever, and obviously it has to be appropriate, but there is a prize for the best team spirit. And these are some pictures of examples of years past of what they've done for their team themes. Your job is to create one PowerPoint slide with an appropriate picture or graphic that represents your team theme, and then email this to me so that I can put it at the beginning of your presentation. Once you've decided on your team theme, you will need to create a title slide for the PowerPoint for your trivia session. This requires a couple elements. Number 1, you need to have your team number. Number 2, you need to have the subjects that your questions will be on. Number 3, you need to have the names of all of the team members. And then number 4, some kind of graphic or illustration that represents your team theme. Let's review some of the changes for this year that we made based on feedback from prior years. Number 1, teams no longer have to write their own questions for hosting their trivia sessions. I've actually created these questions for you. If you don't like the questions that you're given, you can certainly substitute them with your own. Number 2, we've reduced the amount of practice questions by about half. Number 3, we've allowed about 30 more minutes in the team trivia sessions. Number 4, we've allowed you to review all of your test questions, the ones you got right and the ones you got wrong. You can review these at the completion of your test, but you cannot copy and paste them. Anything that you answered incorrectly will still be emailed to you. The correct answers will not be emailed. And then finally, we've reduced the amount of time for each day by about 1 hour. On the team emails that I sent you out, I put a duty to the right of your name. There are 5 duties for each team. You can swap these around if you don't like the one that you were assigned, as long as everything is covered. In teams of 6, there will be 2 secretaries, and in teams of 5, there will only be 1. Let's review what each of the team member duties entails. First, we have the announcer. You are essentially the host of the trivia session. You are responsible for reading the trivia questions and answers out loud, slowly and clearly to the playing teams. Next, we have the presenter. You're in charge of the PowerPoint. You will advance the question and answer slides as needed, and you will also be the timekeeper. For each regular question, you'll give the playing teams 1 minute, and for each halftime and final question, you'll give the playing teams 2 minutes to answer. Next, we have the coordinator. Your job is to go around and pick up all of the playing team's answer slips when they've completed them and bring them to the secretaries and the scorekeepers for grading. Next, we have the secretaries. Remember, in teams of 6, there will be 2 of those, and in teams of 5, there will be 1. You are essentially the grader of all of the answer slips for the playing teams. If a playing team turns in an incorrect answer and they want to contest that, they will have to bring to you a source that is medically acceptable to try to prove that their answer is correct. It will then be up to you to decide whether you accept that or not. Next, we have the scorekeeper. They will keep track of all of the cumulative points for each teams. They will announce the rankings after halftime and prior to the final question so that the teams can make their wagers appropriately. When your team is playing as the scorekeeper, it's also your responsibility to keep track of the master team scorecard for all of the trivia sessions. This is just a quick overview of how the team trivia sessions will play out. The announcer will start by reading the questions slowly and clearly to the playing teams. The presenter will then start the time, 1 minute for each regular question, 2 minutes for each halftime and final questions. The playing teams will then hold their completed answer slips up, and the coordinator will come around and collect those and bring them to the secretaries for grading. The secretaries will grade the questions and then announce which teams answered correctly. The scorekeeper will then take those points and input them into the Excel file. Once all of the answers have been turned in, the announcer will read the answer, and the presenter will flip to the answer slide. Once the answer slide has been viewed, the presenter will then flip to the review slide, and there will be a review of the subject that has just been tested on that question. Let's review the 3 types of questions that you'll see in the team trivia sessions. First, we'll review the regular questions. There will be 12 of these. This will be 1 minute per question, and this will be a patient scenario type of question. The answer will require 2 portions. So for example, an 18-year-old sexually active female presents with abdominal pain. Her last menstrual period was 6 weeks ago. Qualitative HCG is positive. Ultrasound is negative for pregnancy in the uterus. What is the most likely location for the embryo to be implanted? And name 1 risk factor for this condition. Remember that the answer requires 2 portions. In order to get the point, you must say fallopian tube and 1 risk factor. There is no deduction for any wrong answers, but in order to get the 1 point, you have to have both portions of the answers correct. Next, we have 1 halftime question. This will come after question 6. In this question, you will have 2 minutes to answer. It will require 5 answers, so this is a little bit different of a format. Name 5 physical exam findings associated with cirrhosis. For every correct answer that the team gives, they will get 1 point. So there's a potential to pick up 5 points during the halftime question. The last question will be a final question, and this will play out like Final Jeopardy. You will have 2 minutes to answer this, and there is a variety of different types of questions you might see. For example, you may be asked to put something in order. Starting with the vena cava, name the next 5 steps in the order of the blood flow. Or you may be asked to categorize something. Name a type of anemia in each of the following categories. Or you may be asked to identify something. For example, pictures of dermatological diseases and what are the diagnoses. For this question, your team can wager from 0 to 10 points depending on your confidence for the answer. For this one, if you answer incorrectly, any portion of the answer is incorrect, you will have the points that you wagered deducted from your total points. So there's a potential for a large point swing on that final question. When you're hosting the team trivia sessions, you have 2 options for your trivia questions. Option A, which is the easy button, and option B. In option A, you will use the list of questions that I've generated for you, and these will be your questions. So you will be considered to be the experts on the subjects, the questions, and the answers. If a team appeals your question or answer, you must be prepared to defend it. You can't just say, well, I don't know, I didn't write these questions. Don't complain about your questions. In option B, if you don't like the questions, you can certainly rewrite them. Make sure that you use the same question subject that's listed next to the question number and the same format for the question that you're replacing. For example, regular, halftime, or final. You can submit your revised questions to me 2 weeks before the board review, and I will edit them or accept them and send them back to your team to use them in your final question list. Remember that you are still considered the experts. I want to have a really positive atmosphere for this board review, so no sour grapes. If you don't like your questions, speak now or forever hold your peace. Walk into that trivia session and be excited to give these questions to your classmates. Let's review the schedule for your 4-day board review. On day 1, we're going to start off with a general overview of what to expect from the PANCE. Then we will do trivia sessions 1 and 2, take a break for lunch, and then you'll come back and take a practice test on all of the topics that were covered in those morning's trivia sessions. In day 2, we will do teams 3 and 4 trivia sessions. You'll have lunch, and then we'll take a practice test. On day 3, we will complete the trivia sessions with teams 5 and 6. You'll take a lunch and then a practice test. And then on the final day, we'll start off our day with a lecture on how to negotiate your first job offer. We will hand out prizes from the trivia sessions. You'll be able to fill out an exit survey where you can provide feedback on the review, and then you'll finish off the review with a half PANCE. This has exactly half the distribution and types of questions that you'll see on the real PANCE, so it gives you a good predictor of your actual score. This is some information on the practice test. You will have 3 of these, and these will happen at the end of day 1, day 2, and day 3. There will be 100 questions per practice test, and these are written in the style of the PANCE, which is usually a patient type scenario. For regular testing, you want to budget 1 minute per question, for time and a half, 90 seconds, and for double time, 2 minutes. The questions will each be displayed on a separate page, just like they are on the PANCE, but you can toggle back and forth between the questions. You can also flag the questions that you're unsure of. You can take breaks as you need to, but you want to try to limit these because you don't want to run out of time. The practice test will shut off after the allotted amount of time. Any answers that are incorrect, they will be emailed to you so that you can study them. At the completion of the exam, you'll be able to review both your correct and incorrect questions, but the correct questions will not be emailed to you and you cannot cut and paste them. The half PANCE will be taken on the last day of the board review after all the trivia sessions and practice tests are completed and the information is freshest in your mind. This test is exactly half of the questions and half of the timing of the actual PANCE. The subject distribution of questions is the exact same as it is on the PANCE. The score that you receive on this half PANCE practice test is highly predictive of how you will do on the actual PANCE. In fact, most students score within 20 points of their practice test score. Any answers that you answered incorrectly will be emailed to you so that you can study them for later on. On the last day, we'll be giving out prizes. So you don't just get bragging rights, you get some monetary gift cards for your participation in the board review. There's a prize for the first place team, the second place team, and the team with the best team spirit. Thank you for watching the video. I'm happy to help you if you have any questions. You can feel free to send me an email, and I hope you're looking forward to the board review.